Right off the bat, let's just say I consider pizza a necessity. Hi, I'm Liz from Liz Gets Loaded. The money kind of loaded, though I do drink wine while I record these. Let's see if I can retire in 5 years, shall we? Now, let's get one thing straight first. You should probably be careful taking financial advice from someone whose username implies she might be drunk. I'm on the path to FIRE. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. I prefer the term work optional. Today I'm talking about January's no spend budget. Everything I spent money on over the last 31 days. Some people set up no spend months with rules about what's essential or a necessity. These are mine. For me, anything where I have to make a decision counts as spending. For example, even though groceries are a necessity, I have to decide when to shop and what to buy, so for me that counts. On the other hand, for me, recurring transactions don't count as spending. For example, Netflix isn't a necessity, but I've already decided that this is an expense that I'm going to have every month, so there's no decision to be made. And lastly, I don't count gift cards as spending. That's because I have a bad habit of letting gift cards pile up and never using them. So for me, this makes sense. If you're still with me, hit that thumbs up button. If you do, I'll tell you everything I spent money on in January. Okay, I'm gonna do that anyways, so maybe just hit it to be nice. Alright, here's my completed no spend chart for January. You can see that I had 23 days with check marks, so I had 23 no spend days based on the rules I set up for myself. Let's look at a more detailed breakdown. On the first, I paid my mortgage, didn't count. On the second, I bought myself a coffee from Starbucks, did count. If you can think of a way to classify this as necessary, please let me know. On the fourth, I paid for internet, didn't count it. On the 8th, I paid for HelloFresh. This is something we've been doing lately to give ourselves the novelty of new meals since we're not going to restaurants. That's $100 for 2 people. On the 10th, we bought groceries, $114 for 2 people. I count groceries in my no spend challenge because I could go a little bit nuts at the grocery store if we're being honest. On the 13th, I paid for wine, $43. Now, I think there's an argument to be made that this is necessary, but this isn't that video. On the 14th, we paid for insurance, did not count it. On the 15th, we got pizza for dinner, but since it was paid for with a gift card, didn't count it. On the 17th, a medical expense, not really my decision, so not going to count it. And on the 18th, we did a big grocery haul for $175 to carry us through the rest of the month. On the 20th, broke down and bought takeout burgers, $36, definitely counted it. On the 21st, Netflix and Hulu. Since this is a recurring transaction, and I already made the decision a long time ago, didn't count it. On the 22nd, HelloFresh again, did count it. On the 25th, gas and electric, not really a decision, so didn't count it. And then on the last day of the month, broke the streak, went out for breakfast, $28, definitely counted it. Now, a lot of people don't count groceries in their no spend months, and if I didn't count those 2 times I bought groceries, I'd be at 25 no spend days. But that's not how I set up my rules. On the other hand, some people count every single expense, and if I counted that way, I'd only have 16 no spend days. So that's the beauty of a no spend month. You're allowed to set up your own rules. Why do a no spend month in the first place? There are lots of reasons. Obviously, you save some money. It's a great way to reset good spending habits, kind of like a cleanse, but for spending. It's a great way to gauge your emergency fund. How long would your emergency fund really last if you had to cut back to what you consider bare bones? And it's also a great way to estimate your fire expenses. Now, I think one of the best reasons to do a no spend month is actually to get an estimate of how much money you need to reach financial independence and retire early. I'll link to a video for more about this, but a lot of people use the rule of 25, meaning your expenses in retirement multiplied by 25 equal how much you need to retire. Let's say you spend $4,000 a month. You can multiply that by 12 to get your annual expenses, and by 25 to get a financial independence number of $1.2 million. But maybe in a no spend challenge month, you can get your total expenses down to $3,000. You can multiply that by 12 months to get your annual total, and by 25 to get a retirement number of $900,000. Now, you can always decide that you want to keep saving until you hit the higher number, but doing a no spend month helps you understand a realistic low end of your range. I couldn't go a month without getting takeout a few times, so it would be unrealistic to think I'm somehow magically going to do that when I'm retired. All right. Have you done a no save month? Do you like doing them? What are your rules? Like, subscribe, or leave a comment, a nice comment. You can also find me at Liz Gets Loaded on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.